In this video, I'm going to talk about how to rent your investment property, a step-by-step guide that whether you've rented 12 properties in the past or you're renting out your very first investment property, I'm confident that you'll get some value from seeing our step-by-step process that we use at Fuse Property Management. We average renting out anywhere from 5 to 7 investment properties every single month. So in doing so, we've created some efficiencies that I'm going to share with you today. It's a 7-step process, and let's jump right in to step 1. So step 1, pictures and video. So this may be one of the most critical steps. Perhaps, well, not perhaps, even more critical than your ad copy itself. So if you want to attract good quality prospects, you have to show them what they're getting. And in doing that, let's jump into a few tips that you can use to take good pictures and video. So first, if you have a DSLR camera, great. That's going to be what you're going to want to use. If not, your cell phone will work great. The cameras in cell phones these days are fantastic. But if you are using your cell phone, don't take the pictures in portrait mode, as you can see with the camera there now. You want to take the pictures in landscape mode. So this is just going to show more of the room. It's going to be much more visually attractive to any prospects looking at your ad. The portrait mode is great for Instagram stories if you're doing that, but for your advertisement, make sure you're taking it in landscape mode. The other thing you want to do, if you have access to a wide angle lens for your DSLR, use that for sure. If not, if your cell phone has a wide angle mode, you want to put it into the wide angle mode. Reason is you can just see way more of the room. It makes everything seem bigger because it is. The other thing you want to do is quickly touch up the pictures. Put it into a photo editing software, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, and just quickly touch things up. You want to brighten things up, just make it look a little bit more inviting than just a dark picture. At the very least, make sure the lights are on in the house just so you get a little bit brighter of an image. The last thing that I'll mention on the pictures is put them in order of how somebody would walk through the rental unit. So it's going to be different for each property, but it's just much easier for somebody to comprehend the layout if the pictures are listed in order rather than jumping all over the place. Video is becoming more and more important these days. We do a video walkthrough for every single one of our vacancies. The reason is we feel that it further qualifies a tenant prospect. So if they can quickly establish from watching our video walkthrough that our rental unit doesn't have a main floor powder room, and they really need a main floor powder room, if they can establish that from watching the video, they're not going to inquire and waste our time, nor are they going to waste their own time. Nobody likes wasting time, so we feel that video is much more stimulating and appealing to tenant prospects. All right, time for step 2, creating the advertisement. So first off, you're going to need to write the ad copy. So here's a few tips for writing your ad copy. So the first thing you're going to want to do is put the location details near the top of the write-up. The reason is a lot of those location details will get picked up by search engines of wherever you're posting your ad. And those are most often the terms used searching for rental units. So if you want your advertisement to pop up to people looking for rentals in your specific area, put the location details near the top. The next thing you're going to want to do is list 2 to 5 reasons why somebody will want to rent there. Then say how much it is, what's included, what's not, and lastly, how somebody can go about scheduling a showing. So once your ad copy is done, you've got your pictures, time to post your ad. Post your ad to as many online marketing channels as you can. All right, time for step 3, the showings. So here's a few tips for conducting your showings. So the first thing you're going to want to do is have preset showing times. We do this and it's just much more efficient. So try to get as many people as you can to show up to your preset showing time. Similar to an open house, except that these are all preset appointments. So give a few options per week, maybe stagger the time, some in the morning, some in the afternoon, so you can appeal to as many people's schedules as possible. And that's it. Put the times in your calendar, block it off, done. This is going to eliminate so much back and forth trying to agree on a time to show properties, and it's just going to make the most out of your time. Next, you're going to want to pre-qualify. So now you can only go so far in doing this, but as an example, something that you could ask is, do you have any pets? Or what kind of pet do you have? And if you know that you don't want any pets at your rental unit, this is a way to quickly Pre-qualify so that you don't waste your time showing it to somebody that you're not going to approve anyways. So we have a series of questions that we ask, and you should do the same thing. As far as your showings go, hopefully you've got some people interested in coming to see it. It's probably the pictures and video you took. But now once you're in the rental unit, just have all the lights on, have some doors open, just make it look inviting and make sure the property's clean. All right, time for step 4. As they say, the fortune is in the follow-up. So we send a follow-up email to every single prospect that comes and views any single one of our units. So the reason is we like to stay top of mind as they've probably visited other properties. And not only that, we like to ask for feedback. So we want to know, what do they think about the price? What do they think about the layout? Just any feedback that they can give. The other thing that we like to do is send detailed instructions of how they can proceed to the next step. Because I guarantee once you're doing your showings, every single person is going to leave asking, okay, so how do we apply? So we just have it preset that we automatically send the follow-up email, and we provide a link to our application and just instructions on how to take the next step. All right, step 5. This perhaps is the most critical step. Do not skip this step, screening. So it's so easy not to screen and go off your gut feelings. Do not go off your gut feeling. Do your homework. I can tell you so many times where I thought the prospects would make a great fit. That is until we reviewed the application. In Ontario, where I'm located, Barrie, Ontario, it's so difficult to evict problem tenants. Making a silly mistake by not properly screening can potentially cost you so much time and money, it's just not worth the risk. This really is the make it or break it step in renting out your property. In terms of screening, this is the minimum you should be doing. So first you want to verify their stated income. Make sure they have provable income. And the rent to income ratio should be no more than 40%, ideally lower than that. Review their credit score. So I will say we check the credit of every single applicant that applies for any of our properties, and we do take it into high consideration. But there are times where we will give somebody a second chance. If they're showing signs that they're making better decisions, then we are in the business of giving second chances. The credit score does show a lot, because if the credit score is good, it's more likely that person's going to care and make their payments on time. So the credit is very important, but be in the business of giving second chances as well. Next, you're going to want to ask for a landlord reference or a personal reference of some type. We like the landlord reference, and we like getting 2 previous landlords references. We get their contact info, we can follow up. So just be aware, because sometimes people will give you their cousin or their brother who was their previous landlord. So we have ways of confirming that they are actually the owner of the property. But if you're not able to do that, sometimes if you're just able to probe a little bit deeper, ask some more deeper questions. What was included in the rent? What was the rent? Who was living there with them? That sort of thing. And if you can kind of cross-reference that with either your application or even your pre-qualification questions, sometimes that's a way to just see if somebody's maybe trying to pull your leg with a fake landlord reference. So as I said, that's the minimum you should be doing. We do a lot more than that. But as I said, don't skip out on the screening. It really will cost you so much more in the end. And this is the minimum you should be doing. Alrighty, so we've completed the screening. Now it's time for step 6. Approve. Amazing. You found a good quality tenant. Now it's time to take the deposit to hold the rental unit. In Ontario, we're only allowed to collect the last month's rent as a deposit. And without that deposit, we continue to show the property to prospective tenants. We won't hold the unit until we receive that deposit. All right, we've made it to the last step, step number 7. Now it's time to sign the lease and some other odds and ends, and this is how we do it. So first, we coordinate a time to sign the lease. In Ontario, we now have a standard lease that is used for all residential tenancies across Ontario. In most cases, we will sign a 1-year lease, but sometimes your situation might be different. Next, we would collect the first month's rent, and we only take cash, e-transfer, or a certified check as the first month's rent payment. Then, if your property is going to be rented plus utilities, we would want to see confirmation that the utilities have been set up in the tenant's names. Lastly, we also verify that the tenant has taken out a renter's insurance policy. And that's it. You're done. Release the keys, grab yourself a beverage. With all that hard work, hopefully you have an A+ tenant. If you like this video, I regularly publish videos related to real estate investing. You can continue to see them by hitting the subscribe button. I would love if you did it because it really helps my videos and I'd really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.